Hello everyone, this is VGTI. Did you think I was gone for yet another years-long hiatus? Nah, I'm still kicking. Like I mentioned at the end of my last video, I was getting ready to start a new full-time job. As you can imagine, said job has sucked up most of my free time, leaving me little to no time to work on any VGTI videos. But with the latest Nintendo Direct, well, I had to find some way to make time to talk about this. Pikmin 4 is here. And it's real. It's a real physical game that we can actually play in just a few months. This isn't a dream, but that begs the question, what's going on in this game? And why did it take so long to see the light of day? Join me today as we comb through the questions the Pikmin 4 trailer left us with. I might briefly just become a Pikmin channel for a good amount of this year, and considering the occasion, I think I'm okay with that. To start, let's lay out the questions I'm going to be talking about today from the Pikmin 4 trailer. Who are the new protagonists? What's going on with all of the buildings and civilization we see throughout the environments? Are caves back? And when does this game take place? Pikmin 4 sees us taking control of a whole new group of characters. 4 to be exact. Colin, Shepard, and 2 unnamed captains. As with past titles, the number of captains keeps increasing by 1 to reflect which game we're on. But just who are these people? As it turns out, there are many clues about them we can gain just by careful examination. First, and most noticeably, is that the text seen on their spaceships is the language of Kopai. Their alphabet is seen all throughout Pikmin 3 in a number of places, and fans have already translated the text on both ships seen in this new trailer. The smaller ship says HTCU or HTOU, while the bigger ship says HTCUGN or HTOUGN. Whatever these mean, it's likely that the HT part of the abbreviation stands for Hooktate Transportation, or something to that effect, as many people have pointed out online. This creates a bizarre situation where we have text that is possibly referring to Hooktate, but in Kopai's language. Nintendo may be doing this intentionally to mess with us and leave us guessing, but either way, it's definitely fueled debate online. I do think the new characters are a group of Kopites, possibly sent to the Pikmin planet to treasure hunt after the trio from Pikmin 3 went back home and solved Kopai's food shortage. Essentially, it would be like what happened with Olimar after returning to Hooktate between Pikmin 1 and 2. This, in my mind, is what makes the most sense, at least from what little we've seen. Also of note are the physical appearances of these new characters. Whereas all Hookatations we've seen have large noses, little hair, and closed eyes, the new characters more closely resemble the Kopites in every way, with their open eyes, full heads of hair, and differently shaped noses. There's another character seen in the trailer as well, separate from our main group of 4. The characters refer to them as a castaway, but we don't get a good look at who this could be. Part of me wants to say it's Alf, just due to the color of their helmet's antenna, but it could just as easily be Louie, or even an entirely new character we've never met before. Whatever the case, their spacesuit is distinctly different in appearance from the main characters. You can faintly make out a larger nose under the helmet, but that doesn't really narrow things down. So, moving on. One of the most surprising things, at least for me, from the trailer are the new environments. In past Pikmin games, we would only get hints of civilization dotted around the levels here and there. Treasures in Pikmin 2, bathroom tile, a broken vase, things like that. Pikmin 4, meanwhile, has structures of humanity everywhere throughout the footage. A park bench, a construction site, a full house that can be seen in the background. I don't think this has any story implications, though. The characters in Pikmin are all incredibly tiny, so the chances of them actually seeing structures like these are very low to begin with. It could just be that Nintendo finally wanted to incorporate them into the design, which brings me to my next subject. Caves. Yes, they are back, but to what extent, we don't really know. Chances are high there have been some changes to their design compared to Pikmin 2, but from what we do get to see, they do have terrifying bosses, just like before. One even that's a familiar face. Something interesting fans noted about caves returning is the introduction of the new Pikmin type, Ice Pikmin, takes place inside a cave. This could mean that they are created in a similar way to purple and white Pikmin from Pikmin 2, but it doesn't completely rule out them having their own onion just yet. Oh yeah, purples and whites are back too, at least according to the cover art. Can we get some love for Bulbmin up in here? One thing I wanted to touch on in regards to gameplay is the little snippet at the end of the trailer. A Bulborb walking around at night with glowing red eyes and ominous music. This was intentionally left for the end of the trailer, but what does it mean? Many have theorized a night mode of some kind, something unheard of in the series up until now. To be honest, I'm in agreement. I don't think Nintendo would leave that clip in like that if it wasn't important to the mechanics of the game somehow. It could just be a plot-related thing, or maybe a night mode in a very limited way. Future VGTI here. Naturally, as I was in the process of editing this video, Nintendo shadow dropped some new info about this very topic. A survey was sent out to specific groups of people by Nintendo, asking them what kind of game they'd like Pikmin 4 to be, presumably for marketing purposes. Eurogamer specifically shared some interesting details the survey mentions about the game. Most notably that it will be having players embark on nighttime missions that feature new and intense gameplay. It feels very Nintendo to drop such big information in a little survey like this. For the first time ever, the Pikmin series will have night gameplay. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Also, before I hop off, I thought it's also worth mentioning that the survey describes caves in the game as puzzle-filled, where you carefully manage your resources until you escape, which doesn't sound too dissimilar from Pikmin 2. Anyway, back to past VGTI. But the biggest question, what's happening to the Bulborb? Is this just how they look at night, or is there something more sinister happening to them? And finally, when does the game take place? Based on everything I said earlier regarding the new characters, it seems to me the game does take place after the events of Pikmin 3. The Copites going to PNF 404 in that game was seen as a first-time thing for them and their species, a last-ditch effort to explore an unknown planet in order to fix their food crisis. Now that that's over and the planet is less of an unknown element to them, they feel safe enough to send more of their explorers to search for riches. There could be more to it than this, of course. The fact that there's a castaway in the trailer could imply that this team is there on a rescue mission, for instance. Either way, that sweet cash money is definitely a part of it. That always ends well. So now, let's discuss the Pikmin-sized elephant in the room. Where has Pikmin 4 been all this time? I won't go into the amount of brief mentions Miyamoto gave the game over the years, but let's just say it's been teased for a long time. It's difficult being a Pikmin fan, you guys. The gap between 1 and 2 wasn't too bad, it was only 3 years. There's a reason those two games were my childhood. But then the gap to Pikmin 3 happened. By the time Pikmin 3 released, 9 years had passed. Between the release of Pikmin 2 and 3, I went from being a kid to already having graduated high school. And now Pikmin 4 is going to release in July, nearly 10 whole years after Pikmin 3. Like, I'm pushing my 30s, Nintendo. I don't even want to think about a Pikmin 5 or how old I would be if that someday becomes a thing. If you want my take, I think the long gap isn't due to any one particular reason. Pikmin 4 was being teased back in the Wii U days, before the Switch was known to the public. It's entirely possible Nintendo started development for the game for the Wii U, only to switch gears for the Switch. On top of that, there's Hey Pikmin. While Nintendo's core dev team did not make that game, it was counted as a Pikmin release, and it's still not clear which games Miyamoto was referring to at which times. Basically, this 10-year gap has seen a huge amount of change for Nintendo. Iwata passed, the Switch debuted to the world. Nintendo itself underwent a couple of managerial changes, and most of Nintendo's other big flagship series have had their big games on Switch since. Miyamoto himself has been a busy guy through all of this. All of these things just didn't bode well for Pikmin 4 on Nintendo's priority list, it feels like. That's the thing though, we don't know much about the background details of Pikmin 4 yet. No word on why there was so much silence and time passed since it last got a mention. No word on how its development went or who the specific staff involved are. I imagine this will change once the game drops later this year, and When it does, rest assured, I will be making a video discussing it. Since it's Pikmin, this one game alone will probably inspire several theory videos. Just look at how many I've done on Pikmin 3 alone. Anyway, it's a good time to be a Pikmin fan. We all may be old now with jobs, mortgages, maybe kids, definitely some back pain, but hey, at least Nintendo didn't forget about us. That's it for me though. Catch me on Patreon if you would like to support this channel and keep it alive. Don't know when I'll upload next due to work, but this topic was worth setting aside some time for.